What's up? What's up? What's up, man? It's Marcus Calder with Mike Mendez with Aesthetic Business. What's up, man? What's good?
What's good, man? Shit, you just back from your trip, so I just want to ask you a couple questions about some
of the things you've been doing. Yeah, it's been a crazy like month. I would say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think, man, I've known you for a very long time. As far as I've always known you, you've been in one industry, and now that people are seeing your social media doing those things, you actually have another. You've been pivoting. And that's what I really want to talk about right now is the idea to pivot. I think it's a very good idea. Like we saw through the pandemic, people, if a restaurant didn't pivot and put something outside tables, they closed. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got to have that idea to pivot, but yours is a different kind of pivot because it wasn't necessarily a pivot out of need, right? There was nothing that maybe the pandemic probably hurt it a little bit, but your pivot was more, I think, going to a new field. And that's what I would like to really like for you to talk about is like the new field that you went into, how you thought about pivoting, why you thought about pivoting, and what is the benefit of your pivot so early?
Man, honestly, man, that's a good question, man, and how you structured that. It's like, I don't know, man. I've been in this industry, in the fitness industry, for about almost 20 years now. It's crazy, you know. And it's just like seeing like the bodybuilding shows, what it's going into, and what fitness is going into, social media, and just me just being a nerd, you know, and just loving like, you know, getting into things and learning new things. But I found out I just found out my art, like I'm an artist, you know, I found that out through the pandemic. Like I really got deep into filming, you know, but a lot of people don't know. If anybody doesn't know me, I used to carry around a selfie stick back in 2015, 16, before it was even popular, making fucking videos, right? And getting crazy eyes there. Now everybody has that shit. It's very interesting now, you know? It's just that right now, I think fitness and just especially with bodybuilding shows, man, I want to give my clients more. I'm all about more, you know, and I just can't depend on shows to have a good experience. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. You know, and a lot of times people end up disappointing. You just can't do it. And 2020 has taught me to, like, when everything's shut down, it's like, okay, we got to do something, you know? And so I just cracked down and I got into filming like hardcore, man, you know, me and my team, and just started hitting it, man. And now all those years of just doing this craft, this is what it is now.
And do you find filmmaking is your passion? Do you find it's a like outlet? What do you find about it that made you want to go into this?
Man, honestly, I love just being a creator. You know, it felt like when I picked up the people who inspired me to do this. Shout out to Dan Drescher Visuals. That's the homie right there who really got me into this. Shout out to him. You know, gosh, man, he used to be my workout partner, man. And for years he will always be like, hey, let me do videos for you or blah, 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 blah. And I would be like, no, you know, but he got me into it. And once I got into that, man, and once I picked up my first camera, I was like, man, this feels like bodybuilding all over again. It felt right. If that makes any sense. It felt like I loved it, you know? So that's when I knew I was supposed to be doing it.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because, you know, now that you've kind of made this pivot now, you're making a pivot. And I really like you to talk about the idea, maybe the concepts, and you don't have to go into specifics on this one, but now that you're doing something that you really care about, what I like about it is, you know, let's say somebody's been doing this already, or let's not, you're in a new field right now and your competition is just you, because it's a new field that you created on your own. And when people try to get into this field because they're going to see how successful you are, I think they're probably already seeing it now. It's going to be hard for them because they don't have that like filmmaking isn't a thing where you can go and just pick up a camera and you're good. Yeah. Right. Like we're talking about the other day, you're color grading. I sent you a video and you're like, hey, I would change this and that. You got to really like hone your skills. And even if you're doing filmmaking on that, I do real estate. And if I was to go to do something on a commercial on a car, that's a whole new concept that you got to really break it down. And so I love the creative process. Is there something you want to, like, when you started thinking about what you're doing now, your CTN exclusives, which we had on some of your team, what was the thought process behind that?
Man, when I started, the thought, that's a twisty question. So the whole thing for me was, when I started the whole C10 exclusive again, I wanted my clients to get more than just a fucking trophy. You know what I mean? I wanted them to like feel, because I work with a lot of women, like empowered, beautiful, and just loose. You know what I mean? And just really can just relax in a good environment, good people. You know what I mean? And just have fucking fun. You know what I mean? And that's the environment that I'm creating. I'm giving something to you that can last forever. You know, instead of a dusty trophy or whatever, right? But you're connecting with new people. People are finding passions in themselves, right? In themselves and getting into this, or hey, people have endeavors of their own, right? And everybody who works with me knows I'm all about. If you have a business, I'm all about your shit. You know, I'm all about that. You know, I'm all about that. You know. And I care about everybody's endeavors and what they have going on. So if I can help out in any way, right, and use my art, and then so be it, right? But it just happens to be that I'm a nerd, I'm a coach, right? But I have combined everything into one. And you're right, I'm in my own genre. I feel. You know, and I think it's just going to keep getting bigger and just better. And then eventually I'm going to just have my own events over the weekend. I'm going to have like these monster weekends. I see it coming, you know?
And one thing that I hope people understood, this is what I hear from you. You saw a problem. There was a problem. There was almost like a complaint, like, hey man, I have this issue going on with my athletes and stuff like that. And you found a way to solve it, but also you found a way to solve it with your talents and your passions, your forward, which again, like I said, that's why I say it created a new field, a new genre in a sense, because these are some things that like haven't been seen, being able to adapt. Because to be able to be 20 years of bodybuilding coach, and then to be what I think several years of filmmaking, and then you're getting better and better. And then it's been evolving for a long time. I mean, you already talked about it, getting a selfie stick before there were the gimbals and all those things. Hey man, that's how you start. And that's how you told me to start. Get a phone. And so, you know, you had that forethought with that. When you saw a problem, you're solving a problem now with that. What are some of the things that made you kind of maybe look like, maybe I'm going to transfer from the fitness industry to something, to a new area, or my focus is shifting?
I'm always going to be doing fitness things. Right. But again, I'm not all fitness, man. You know me, I'm Mr. Real Estate as well. Right. I'm also Mr. Dad. I'm also, you know, I run another company, you know, doing something, you know, it's just, I'm a lot of things. So I think just putting me just being fitness, I have to take fitness and evolve it in my own way. Right. For me, I just can't sit in one spot. I'm on the ground and I hear the complaints from the people. I hear what's going on, what needs to change. People are just unhappy. A lot of them are just unhappy, but it's not because of them. It's because they're relying on other entities to whatever. It wasn't until I had this crazy epiphany last year, you know, and I was going hard and stuff, but a lot of things happened to me last year, you know, like with the people trust and all this other stuff. And I had to sit back, man, and, you know, meditate. You know, I meditate a lot and stuff like that. I had to sit back and I had to realize it was me. You know what I mean? Because I was chasing the wrong shit. I was in it. I got sidetracked, and I was in it for the wrong reasons instead of in it for my people. You see what I'm saying? So once I redirected my mind and started really just focusing on the people, my people's happiness and the overall goals, and wasn't about the fucking shows. Those are just like in the way. Those are indirect, but this is about life. And once I started doing that, that's when, bam, everything started fucking falling into place. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. I think, you know, we're looking at different things, and, you know, I mean, everybody talks about that. The moment you start focusing on the money, the prize, you start focusing on things, you lose track of it. But once you get grounded and you're like, for me, it's like, okay, if I can think about the opportunity, and I can be grateful for the opportunity, man, there's more things that just keep coming your way, because you're never focused on like, hey, am I going to make 6 figures? Am I going to make this? And I would think even in your world, if that happens, you don't look at people, not you, but you could go run down a rabbit hole where people are Right. They're
they're
just the dollar sign,
statistics. They start turning
right?
to straight statistics. But you know what? Just me getting back into that passion, it allowed me to meet more people, meet new like artists and stuff like that. And I just know it's going to get better, you know. But I do like in the industry. There's a few people in the industry that film in my shed. And shout out to Mitch, man, Mitch Gilco and his brother, and Gilbert and all them, man. It's like, because when you're a nerd, when you do film, when you go to the bodybuilding shows, right? When you go to and you do film, the talk is different. It's a different kind of community with that, compared to him talking to a bodybuilding person. So what I like about them is like they give me constructive criticism, and I love that. Yo, video's dope.
Right.
White balance, little off. White balance is off. Fuck. All right, cool. Thanks for that. You know what I mean? So now I'm always white balance, blah, 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 blah. But they push me to get better and shit like that, and talk with them. They're like, yo, shit's getting dope. I'm like, thanks, bro. You know what I mean? So, but it's all love in the industry. And I think for what we all are doing is just really changing the game and stuff like that. And I really want to continue doing that in this, showing my art, man. Yeah.
And now, of course, I'm pretty sure people hearing this shit, they probably want to pivot, do those things. However, I do want to make sure, like, when you do pivot, I'm pretty sure, like, there are people who are either laughing at you about doing this one, or the pivot turns to, hey, you're doing this one, and people see how great of an idea it is. They're like, that's genius. They couldn't think about it, but it becomes hate. Is that something too that you kind of experience on both sides?
First of all, hold on. Anybody knows, like I said, the old selfie stick, 2015, 16. I always keep that around, man. Like, no bullshit, just a reminder. Yeah, bro. Honestly, this is exactly what it feels like. I feel like it's really on some Dolph shit, and it's like they love what I'm doing. They just hate the motherfucker that's doing it. That's exactly how I fucking feel. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we fuck with your shit's dope, but it's like, goddamn, it's that motherfucker's doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I understand that, but usually when you get a lot of hate, when people start hate on you like that, it's usually you doing something right. Right. But I honestly don't give a fuck. Right. And honestly, I don't see people. This is why I stay in this creative's mindset, because I really don't know anybody. Right. I'm like this. If you squad or not, if you're not squad, I don't pay attention to your shit. You know what I mean? I focus on what's going on. I focus what's on my athletes, and I focus on just being creative as possible and being stimulated by other things and not following other teams. And I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Couldn't even tell you.
Right. And I think that's, you hear some people, like, I read books and business books and stuff like that, and they'll be like, what are your look at what your competitors are doing so you can price smart. Like, and that's great. I think really for the creative side, like, if you start doing that, like, you get influenced way beyond that. And then you're not going to try things that are risky in a sense. And that's really what I think pays forward. Cause like you said, before we see it as an afterthought now, what you're doing now, and be like, great. But beforehand, that thought of like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, or I've kind of had this idea of moving this direction, because it's never been done before, because you're like kind of the first of your kind in a sense. It's hard to match other people to get on that dream. And if you're really letting people dictate your dreams, or you're telling them what you're thinking about doing, and if they get excited or not is a gauge of how interested you are, or if you end up doing this thing, man, I think you're going to have a graveyard of a lot of ideas, and you're going to be sad at the end of your life, right? You just got to fucking do it. You got to go for it. And that's what I love about what you're doing, because it's completely creative. And even if everybody, who cares if people mess with it or not, because you're so creative with it. What was like the last trip you had in Florida is now different from the trip you just recently had. It's completely evolved within months. It's amazing how that happened.
And honestly, and the thing is, I plan on going to Canada, right, in February. Shout out to all my Canada clients, where we are coming out there to Canada, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to go out there, be with my clients, train, do all that, but create some dope shit and just vibe with everybody with this art, because this is what it's going to, right? And this is something they can use for their own, like I said, their own businesses and stuff like that, right? And everybody's just really doing their thing. And a lot of the issues is like a lot of a lot of people just want control of media, right? They want control of media, and I understand that they want to like, but you can't control media. Like you can't. It's very hard with phones and stuff like that. Like for instance, like I don't need my camera to make a dope video. I can make a dope ass video with this shit. Been there, done it. I started with this, and this ain't shit. You know, I prefer not to, but I can. But that's my whole point. Like you just, it has evolved so much that the control, like the more you try to control it, the more it's hurting you at this point. You know, so for me, it's just natural for me to like not contain my art and just to take it and just keep getting better and better and better at it, at doing my own thing. That makes sense.
Dope. Yeah, man. As we bring this down to, we bring this to a close. One thing I want to ask you about: what kind of thoughts or advice do you have about people telling you to stick to your lane?
Shit, get rid of them. Right, get rid of them. Like no bullshit. Like, I'm straight up, man. If anybody's telling you to stop doing something, fuck them, man, and get rid of them immediately. Right. I tell you what this old head told me back when I was in Georgia, man. He told me, he's like, young blood, you know how if people are good in your circle? And I'm like, what's that? He was like, throw them some information that don't mean shit and see who's actually happy for you. The ones who just blow you off, get rid of them. Yeah. He's like, he goes, your biggest supporters will be happy for you no matter what little shit you doing. Straight up, you know? Yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's amazing, especially in this time of world we're in where like people are only shining the most, they will wait 1 year and only have one achievement of like going on vacation or something like that. And that's what they're showing to the world. And so I think when you can show people like, hey, I did this today, and people are like, that's awesome, man. Go get your shit, man. Like, go, man. Like, that's great. You're moving forward. That's why like one of Jordan Peterson's things is saying like, be selective of who you tell good news to.
100%, man.
You know what I mean?
Definitely on that. I'm just happy with how things are going, man. You know, and if people want to like bump and bruise me and try to, I don't care. I'm still going to keep going. I'm still going to keep doing my thing and doing for the people, like my clients and the people who want to, just overall just have a good experience and a good time, just a whole Cinderella moment. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that I can create that. Like literally I can create that. Right. And I just know, my clients are just as creative as I am. And I'm very selective of who I take in. So the vibes has to be right as well. You know what I mean? I just see this as being super huge now that I got like people who don't need to be here out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's just important to succeed is getting the people out of your way. Now that we got Las Vegas done, we got some content coming out. Where can people start checking this content out? Because I feel bad for some people because I get like sometimes an exclusive like, hey, this was dropping pretty soon. I'm like, dope. So where can people start finding this stuff?
Okay, so everybody just go to my Instagram right now for the Marcus Project. That is where I do a lot of my videos, and Team CTN, of course. But the Marcus Project is it's Marcus Project and CTN are just two different people, you know, and what I'm doing right now, I'm just combining my art, and eventually Marcus Project will be having his own events. So definitely look out for that. And it'll be super exclusive, and it'll be certain amount of slots in different locations and stuff. It's going to be dope.
Yeah. Like I said, man, love the evolution from one video to the next. Within Vegas, we saw a difference.
Dude, Vegas, man.
It's crazy.
Vegas was dope. Remember, I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this lens. Right. You know, but yeah, Vegas was dope, man. It was just, and again, I'm learning a lot from other artists as well, man. And, shout out to Slander, shout out to him, man, as well, man. That dude, that's the homie. Matter of fact, I check on him later. But yeah, me and him, we're supposed to be going again. Like I'm going to New York. I'm supposed to be going to New York in October to do some cosplay shit. You know what I mean? So that's just what I'm talking about. I'm not just doing this the Marcus Project. I'm going to fucking New York, cosplay New York. You know what I'm saying? Dressing up and shit and doing some dope shit. You know, and I'm gonna be filming with Fatima, as one of my athletes up there, and she's a cosplayer. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey man, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it really fast when y'all start seeing these things and people start wondering why. Hey, there was clues dropped about where he's headed to. So, man, thank you for your time, and until next time, brother.